electrical cable. It's going to the electricity is going to go one way or the other way, depending on which we flip. And let's talk first about the gig funding and what that's all about. And again, we're going to get a lot of business information about them on the application. It takes it's a 3-minute tops application to complete. Let's say it goes to the gig worker side of it, where they're going to apply. They're going to link the bank through the Plaid system automatically. They accept offer. They get funded. This all happens in about 8 to 10 minutes. Probably not even 10. Probably closer to 6 to 8 minutes. Gig funding is something that most people ignore and don't do much about. In our society, we think gig workers are really a big part of the future workforce. Right now, they're already 32% of the entire workforce in America. Someone working full time, and then they got a side gig of an MLM or a side gig of a Uber, whatever that might be. The problem with gig workers are that they're all 1099s, and they really lack access to cash. What they find is they get all these unexpected expenses. Maybe they're licensing requirement for what they're doing, or maybe the car breaks down as they're an Uber driver. Where are they going to get the money? And the problem with bankers, they're in the banking system, is they're not going to really be able to underwrite a gig worker with that part-time history, and not to say something negative about gig workers, because this isn't true about a lot of them, but many times when underwriters are looking at gig workers, they historically trend more of a subprime market, so they don't get the best rates out there. This technology that we got in place is fully automated. It's been built for quick results. In 8 minutes, they're going to be able to access whatever they need. Again, they're going to be asked a few questions: when they started their business, that sort of thing. Are you an LLC? Are you an independent contractor with a 1099? What are you looking for? Do you need $500 to $1,000? Do you need $5,000 today? And then when they get that, they're going to have a link automatically appear on their phone or their computer, whichever they apply at. And then they're just going to link their bank right then and there. And within seconds, the system is going to tell them everything they need to know about that client. It's going to tell them, are they bouncing checks? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? And then the underwriting is taking place right there. There's no human underwriting at all. And then they get their approval amount. When they get their approval amount, no salesperson is going to call them, no broker, anything. They're just going to be sent right there online. They're going to be able to click a DocuSign and say, yeah, I want it, and then they're funded. It's really that simple to know whether you're going to get your money right away. The second type of funding that we have is the bigger funding. This is up to $2 million, but as I told you, we can really go up to $5 million on this with most accounts out there. It's not totally credit. 5% of what they're doing monthly on their initial one. We're not interest based. We're not a bank. Told you about that had the restaurant. She needed $100,000, not good credit at all, hadn't paid a lot of people on time. Trade lines weren't great. So to get $100,000, she was going to pay back $149,000. And the broker at that time, we didn't have the system totally in place where we did everything for the broker. So the broker wouldn't even talk to them about the 100, came back to 149, and finally she said, I just need this money because I can make 4 to 5 times what I'm making if I could just get this patio built. And he said, well, we do have one offer, but you can pay back 149.
Is it still recording? Give me a second. Let me see if it's recording. Apparently it's not.
All this going for you over a period of time where you've got lots of referrals coming in, because it's kind of like the ripple effect. They tell one to tell another to tell another, but you're the one that's getting credit for that funding. We also have the lines of credit, and I'm going to be very honest with you. All the banks nationwide, I mean, you got to be hearing it on the news. They're cutting out. I can name you 3 top banks that are cutting out all business lines of credit. And if you do have a line of credit, let's say 50,000, when you pay it down, as you pay it down, it doesn't increase again. As you pay it, it goes away. And that's because of the cost of money now and some of the regulatory stuff that's taking place. We're still offering lines of credit, and you got to have good credit, and you got to be in business for a couple of years, but we can still get that for you. And of course, we do equipment financing as well as asset based. We also are in the employee retention credit industry. Listen, we put thousands of these things through, and we know what we're doing. We've got that, and we'll be glad at some point to go over any kind of training you want with it. But we've got the little buzz things you can ask, and once they go to our link, our CPAs and attorneys call them and get all the information, answer their questions, and qualify them there. You don't have to do the work. And then, of course, the payment process is called cash discount. It's actually now we're calling it dual processing, which means that if they don't want cash discount, we can still give them the best offer possible on the on regular transactions. And if they got certain good clients that they don't want them to pay the fee that they would have to pay, the credit card fee, then they can go to Jewel and just do it normally like any traditional credit card processing would be. We think we provide the number one needed success tool for all of your clients, and that's working capital. It's 100% online process, so there's no hassles. It's quick decisions. You receive a commission on every funded application, and again, those commissions are paid daily by us. Our clients come back 4 to 6 times for additional funding. The reason they come back is that we drip on them every single month. We don't drip on them in the respect of us calling and say, you need more money. We're just saying, hey, we're here. We just want to let you, and we always make them aware that, we do merchant services, we do ERC, we do all this, and we just want, if anyone contacts you, just let us know. We'll get with you if you need more capital. We do this time and time again, and anything that we cross sell to them, it's your client, it's your sale, not ours. We don't have anybody, we don't get any client that goes directly to our platform to us. We don't allow that. There's got to be a broker agent or master agent involved. Really, your requirement is to provide the link that we are providing for you, and get the word out to all your warm market. Well, where do you find clients? Well, the absolute best, as you probably know, is your warm market, businesses that you already do business with. I've done many fundings, more than probably most people in the industry. I've never done a funding without the Connect card postcards being given to folks. I've never done a funding outside of finding people that in a social circle, in the local community. I go in a restaurant, my wife and I always have these. They're bigger now, they're 6x9, so they're in her purse, but we always leave them behind. If I'm doing business with somebody else, whether it's the cleaners or whatever, they need to do business with me. And the other way to do it that I think is the next best is to meet, greet, and inform local businesses through Connect cards. And that's just walking in and introducing yourself, not selling anything and leaving the cards behind. And we'll talk about that in just a second. And then, of course, Facebook and online advertising and memberships and chambers, associations, BNI, which, by the way, is refundable through Bank Breezy, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. And then we're experimenting with direct mail and other opportunities that are coming soon. But I want you to quickly take a look with me at the Breezy Connect cards, and then we're going to go, after we get through it all that, I'm going to switch. I can answer questions, or we can just switch decks, and I can quickly go through the underwriting process so you can understand the thought process behind all of this. These Breezy Connect cards are really, I think, the most simplest, easiest lead generation program that's ever been built by anybody out there marketing anything, especially capital. These cards dramatically increase customer response. I'm just telling you, we're using them, they work. We have a design online tool where you can customize what you want as far as the information, your personal information on there. All cards that we have are paired with a unique QR code that takes them directly to your site. They got a call tracking and recording system. I'll tell you about in a minute. This system gives customers direct access to you. And if you're not there, then they're going to leave a voicemail. You're going to be able to really track pretty much everything that's happening from there. As far as the QR codes, you can use these unique QR codes, not just on those cards, but you can do it on any type of advertisement that you may have out there, and it could be online. We tie all that into the technology, so you will have that regardless of whether you're using it just with a Connect card. In regards to the phone number, I have my Connect cards, which I'll show you in just a few minutes, and they have the area code that I live in, which is 864, but that's not my phone number on it. That's the Connect card phone number. I don't want my cell phone all out there for everybody, but I can transfer to that cell phone. If I switch cell numbers, I don't have to switch my Connect card number because I can transfer it to whatever number I want to. When I had one call me, I don't know, about a month ago, and I was driving in my car, and when they called, we have a whisper. The first thing they hear is this call's being recorded for quality service. And Lord, stay on the line if you want to accept it. If I hang up, then it's going to go to my voicemail myself. Plus, it's going to be recorded on my Connect card system. So I got two different voicemail messages that I can check. The good thing about this is when I was talking to them, they said, listen, I just want some information. I want this, that, and the other. And I said, well, listen, you know you're being recorded, as we told you at the beginning. Why don't you just quickly tell me what your email address is? Clear because it's recorded in the system. And then I can do all my work right there so that I can send them other information without me having to stop, get a yellow pad, put something in my notes while I'm driving or if I'm busy in another meeting. This is really easy to set up. You've already got this set up in a system. I don't know exactly where it is, but I'm sure that Steve and those guys will let you know. Again, it's a really easy system, and the cost of them I think are really great. You know, you can go to Vistaprint and buy garbage cards if you want for 13 cents a piece and shipping and handling, or Postcard Mania for 12 and shipping and handling. These things are anywhere from 18 cents to 29 cents, depending if you just want a couple. And I got to tell you, they pay for themselves, and I'm actually willing to pay for them for you, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. So these are all the cards that we have. We got a capital funding card, an ERC card, a combination ERC and funding on one card, and then of course your merchant services card that you can get. And they all come with the technology. Right now we're engaging in trying to find a ton of ways that you can create leads outside of the Connect cards, and we got one that we're working on called Direct Connect Mail. We've been working on it for a couple of months. The numbers aren't where we want to, so we're tweaking a lot. You've got your looks like a yellow pad that you wrote and all these are handwritten either laser or with a pen to the box that we have. And we got a phone check, and a lot of you have gotten in, hey, here's the check. You can, you've been approved up to this amount. It's not a live check, but you can call this number. So we're trying a little bit of everything. Once we get through, and we're confident that you can get above average returns on your investment, we'll bring it for everybody to participate in. And trust me, we're already going to have all the premium mailing lists. You're not going to have to do anything. It'll be turnkey. We actually are putting together an entire social media program for each of you. They'll have your own Connect information on it. So we're doing a lot of different things to, in the future, create leads. If you're not one that likes to walk in, I'd rather do meet, greet, and inform and pass out the cards myself. We even have an email program. We're just trying to get around to make sure that 100% of the emails out there are going to be open so that, or at least a large portion, so that we don't get involved in spam, or anything of that nature. These are things in the future, but here's some incentives that we're doing for you guys right now. Number one, if you purchase the Connect cards, once you produce 100,000 in funding within the first 3 months, and you should, if you're going to do funding, you should be able to do this. We'll reimburse you 100% of whatever your costs are of those Connect cards, as long as you do it within that 90-day period. If you join a Chamber of Commerce, an association, or a BNI group, once you produce 100,000 in total funding, there's no time limit. It can be 2 years from now. Bank Breezy will reimburse up to $500 for the membership costs as well. So we believe in it enough to put our money where our mouth is, and hopefully you guys will see the benefit of it and get involved. Now, let me ask you guys, you want me to just jump right into the underwriting, or you want me to answer any questions about this so far? It doesn't matter to me.
I would say let's go ahead and jump right into the underwriting, Wade, since we're recording this, and this will be a great training, and then we could do a Q&A at the end.
Perfect. Let me screen sharing and stop. I hit the wrong button, so you're going to have to let me
Yeah,
share.
no worries.
And I hit the wrong. Let's see here. 1 second. Technology. When you're in your 60s, when you're in your 60s and your 11-year-old grandchild's not around, you don't know much about this stuff. All right. So am I being am I sharing now? Sometimes
Yeah, we're
okay.
up.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right, guys, I'm going to just talk to you about how all this underwriting happens and what determines rates and that sort of thing, so you guys can get a really good idea of why did we do this or that. There are really 8 issues that are considered on every file, and this is done quickly, by the way. We can, in many, I would say at least 70%, 75% of the cases, we can fund the same day. The only reason we don't fund is we're being held up by the client making a decision. But number one is revenue. We look at the 3 bank statements, and they got to have at least $5,000 a month on those statements. If they don't, they're going to go into the gig funding, as long as they got at least 3 to 5. In California, we got to get 4 statements. Other states, we got to get 4 statements. But revenue is a big key issue of what they're going to get. If they're doing $10,000 a month, and this happens all the time, and a broker applies and says, wait, they really need $50,000. Well, I guess they do, but they're doing $10,000. They can't afford a $50,000 funding, and they don't deserve it based on the revenue, because this is what we do. We're revenue-based funding. We look at the deposit numbers. If they've done 3 to 5, then that's good. But if they're doing less than 3, and unless they're an A piece of paper, in other words, an A lender's looking at it and they got great revenue, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 a month, whatever that number is, that's their A paper, then 1 or 2 is okay. The reason they want 3 is this. Let's just say that I'm a small business person and I only have 2 or 3 deposits a month. What happens if one of those clients go away and you don't have any more deposits? It's a different animal if it was just you're getting paid once a month with your credit card processing. If you are, you definitely need to talk to us, because you need to get paid every day. But if it's only got 1 or 2 deposits, one of them's gone, then you're at a high risk of not succeeding. So that's why they look at that. We got transfer accounts, we got negative days. I'm gonna go over each one of these individually. Negative month ending, altered bank statements, personal bank statements, and other MCA positions. So let's just talk revenue. I just went through pretty quickly with you, but revenue is the key. They're going to get anywhere from 100 to 200% of what they're doing monthly in revenue. No more. Here's an example. Let's just say that this person is doing, in January, they did 7,600. They did 12,000 in February, but March they hit 49. They're going to be declined, and they're going to be sent to gig funding. Nobody's going to fund these things when they drop below 5,000. Now, saying all that, if that February was 120,000 and January was 76,000, as long as they've got a reason for what just happened, it could have been a COVID experience, it could be whatever, then we can work through that. But traditionally, you got to have at least 5,000 or you're going to go over to the gig. Here's another situation. Here is a 77,000 in January, 121 in February, but then they dropped to 20,000 in March. Well, what are we going to give them? Well, sometimes we'll average it out and get about 100% of that. But other times we'll look at it and we say, yeah, you know what? This is just a down. Maybe we can give them 200,000. But then there will be situations that the underwriters look at and say, man, this is a big drop off. The reason they dropped off is they lost these contracts. They may only get 100% of the lowest month. So it's a whole set of algorithms and circumstances that they look at, because, and by the way, they're doing this within a couple of hours. This is not taking 2 or 3 days. We're making decisions very quickly so we can get this thing up and running with the client and get them funded. We went over the number of deposits a while ago. For accounts, I had to reporting this so they can understand. When a client has, say, 50,000 has been transferred over from a personal bank account to the business owns their savings account, that's not revenue. That has to be subtracted out. And so if it's 50,000 in revenue, we subtract out 35, they're down to 15,000 in revenue. Now, we do have situations where the small business person may get an invoice paid directly into their personal account, and we can account for that. But we do look at we have to account that they have so that we can know what the real revenue is. Negative bank days is a big deal, guys. There are 20 banking days in a month. We had a client that's doing 323,000, something like that, a month in the construction industry. Every month in and month out. But we can't fund them because 17 of those 21 days in March were negative. That means that almost every day, 19 of the 21 days were negative. That means that every day, except for 2 in the entire month, our payments would have bounced. If we're doing daily and weekly, all 4 of them would have bounced. So they're not going to be able to get funded if they got a lot of negative days. If they've got a lot of bounce checks, NSFs, and those NSFs are over 7 or 8 for the month, they're probably not going to get funded as well. They may have to wait a month, but they could have 20 NSFs on one day because one error happened as far as a return check or something from a customer that you had. That's a different story. So we look at all of this, but we cannot fund people that continually have a negative account in their bank. And quite frankly, the bank will probably close them down pretty soon anyway. Negative month ending, we had another one just yesterday that ended in 5,500 minus. That's not a big deal because it was the last day of the month. But if they're ending month after month after month in negative with 4 or 5 different negatives for each month, then they may have to go an entire month without being subjected to all those negative bank days before we'll fund them. And then altered bank statements. You're going to hear from us. We can't tell you legally, and certainly not going to put it in writing, that this person has a criminal background, that this person is about to go to jail for checks. Well, we can't tell you that this person is in our what we call a data merge system, and because they had forged documents or they had defaulted on certain past fundings. But I will talk to you, your group, one-on-one, and I'll tell you, but I'm not putting it in writing to you because that would be a violation. But I can talk to you as a broker, but I can't. What we don't want to do is what happened here recently, where we sent an email to the broker, one of our staff members, and said, the client got declined because of their criminal background. And they put that on Facebook and said, man, I thought I had this one. And they didn't even bother to black out the guy's name or anything. But fortunately, we have Facebook monitors out there, and we were able to take that down off of our Facebook site. And regardless, those are a lot of reasons because of personal information and privacy laws, and then of course personal bank statements. We talked about that, and then other MCA are out there, and they've gotten stacked a bunch of funding where they got 10,000 from one, 30,000 from another, 40,000 from another. They're just getting themselves deeper and deeper into fundings. We may or we may not fund it. And what we do with every single person is, and when we fund them, we say, if you need more money, just call us. That's why we drip on them every single month to make sure that someone doesn't swoop in and double fund your clients when that's money that you should be making a commission on. Plus, they're not going to give them a great rate, and we're going to be able to help them out there. So actually, just talking about, factor rates versus interest. We're not a bank, so we're not interest based. This kind of gives you some of the sell rates on A paper. We may sell this for a 119 to a 129. That means they borrow 10,000, they'll pay back 11.9 to 12.9 on it. I just made an offer, and they accepted it. I think it's like 150,000 on a 123 rate over 18 months. Do your math. That's about 18% a year on the use of the money. That's incredible in our industry. But it used to be that FICO scores of 5 to 550 were not considered E paper, but everything falls in the trucking industry and a couple other industries out there has created a change in the industry as far as what the cost of money is. You just cannot get as a broker into the mindset that you want to judge whether that client, whether you personally think that's a lot of money or not, because the small business person will weigh it and they'll say, is the need for the fund greater than the cost of the funds? And will this put me in a better position by taking the money? So that's some of the other factors that determine what the rates are the daily balances every single day. I got a lady that wanted 75,000 in a medical clinic out west, and her daily balance was 2 days were negative, 11 days for $10, and we offered her 75,000, which was crazy good, and she wanted not to get it. Don't give it to me. So I know. So guys, sometimes the expectations are crazy because of what the broker told her. The broker told her that she shouldn't pay over 13% for the money because that broker has been in the banking industry before. So we had a talk with the broker and said, this is of your money, hoping that you're going to get paid, knowing that her daily balances are like that. I wouldn't think that you would. These are some of the high-risk industries out there that are tough to approve: trucking and transportation. I mean, we can approve them all day long, but their rates are going to be anywhere from a 128 all the way up to a 155. The reason is that deals that they took in that industry have defaulted. And a trucker, they can just get in their vehicle and move to another state, and you're never going to find them. Real estate investment, these are how we're not here to be their bank to invest in and how you're doing at least $500,000 to $1 million a month, and then it's really going to be looked at hard. And that's the same reason they can close their lockdown and be out of business tomorrow. Plus, 100,000 in cars means they probably sold 3 or 4 cars
Issue.
And of course, anything in the adult industry, we can legally fund those all day long, but we have made a moral decision that we won't. And if that is a problem for you, then my question to you is, number one, why would someone in that industry that's making all this money need funding? So it's going to be high risk. And number two is, can you sleep at night thinking that you're helping it? $50,000 a month in revenue before we're going to fund them. Our privacy issues that are out there are, so just understand, if you see a decline that says client does not qualify for funding, that really is, that's code to tell you committed fraud, modified bank statements, they've done something in this industry that no one will fund them. They're on what's called a data merge list where they're not going to be eligible. Or client did not meet credit eligibility. That doesn't always mean it's because of the credit score. It could mean a whole lot of other things that having to do with some of the things they've been involved in. Just so you know, these are real numbers. 80% of everyone that applies, kind of excluding some of the restricted and prohibited industries, but 80% of them are going to get an offer. 80% of them will take the offer and get funded. If the broker gets involved and tries to negotiate with them, or gets involved and tries to get in the middle of what we're doing, that number is going to drop to 60, and I would say it may even drop as low as to 40% instead of 80. So to us, let us do our job, and we'll get off the cliff, and they're about to go out of business. We had one on a going out of business sale on their Facebook this week, telling everybody that we're closing next Thursday, and they're trying to get funding from us. So the underwriters scour and find these things on the internet, and then finally, some of the lenders don't do their final underwriting when it comes to background until the end. But there were 3 reasons again for a bank verification. Knowing they took into funny stuff. But honestly, the good thing about this business, honesty is the big thing. I mean, don't make a promise or a guarantee. Just move over and let us handle it. We're not a bank. These are not interest rates. They are factor rates, and we know how. That is the easiest question. What's the interest rate here? And brokers panic. Let us handle it, and we'll take care of it. The bottom client to your assigned broker, agent, link, Rawson, don't get involved in the process. We have to help us. The client not communicating with us at all. That's the only time that we want our to the end. We do it all. There's only 2 competitors, we think, in this entire industry. And I'll get a quick drink of water. Hold on one second. That's trigger leads and the broker that we're working with. Let me talk about the broker first, and then I'll tell you what trigger leads are. The broker gets involved, and they're really negotiating against themselves. Really, they want us to get a lower rate, and get lower and lower and lower. I mean, I have brokers all the time that tell me, "Hey, cut my commission. I just want to get this deal done for them." Well, most of the time I don't have to cut it for that, but I will if they insist. But everybody loses there. Trigger leads. What is a trigger lead? A trigger lead really should be outlawed. Experian is the biggest culprit out there. They sell every single deal that whether it's a soft pull or hard pull, any kind of pull, it doesn't matter. You go look at someone's credit and you apply for a funding. They sell it within 48 hours, and they sell it to mainly lenders, but brokers can buy them. They're not cheap. And basically what happens is these unscrupulous lenders Bank Breezy, I got your file in front of me. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and cut out the broker, and we're going to go ahead and give it to you at this cost. And lenders can do that, but none of the top ones do it. The unscrupulous ones do, but there are also the lenders that if you miss a payment or two, instead of being like we are, going to them and say, listen, I know, obviously there's a reason for this. Tell us what it is. Don't hide from us. You can't afford $100 a day. Let's move it to $20 a day until you get caught up. We're not going to. We're not in this business to put these small business people in a worse position than they were in. But on the same token, these other groups, they're going to come in there and they're going to close them down and start calling their client base because they saw their bank statements, they know who they pay, and we just don't operate that way, and we're not going to be part of it. The trigger leads just shouldn't be sold like they are, but they are being sold. So since they are, we're going to pressure these people, not pressure, we're going to put a lot of insistent on making a decision pretty quickly, give them it one day at the most, and then we're going to start really saying, listen, we need to make a decision on you, because we know those trigger leads are going to start happening in 2 or 3 days. And when they happen, they're going to call and lie to the people and get them confused, and we might as well take this out of the equation. So commissions, just so you know, we pay every day. And I think that's important for you to understand. We got scripts that I will be it was script. I think I do have them sent to you. If not, you'll have them for meet, greet, and inform. I got Spear is our merchant services program, and we got icebreakers for businesses that you can talk to them about, different things that you can say to them. The thing about, you asked what I do training on merchant services. Really, there isn't a lot of training to do on a cash discount program. It's just questions that you ask. Don't you hate paying those credit card fees? And you go over that. How would you like not to have to pay them? Well, I would love to. Go to this link, get and put your information in, and then we're going to have someone call you, and then we're going to call them and we're going to explain to us. It's going to be us explaining everything to them. I can do an in-depth credit card processing training later. Today would not warrant that, but I can do it later and video it if it's okay with you guys, and put it in your back office, and you'll know exactly if you want to be the one to go out there and do all the work. More power to you. Hallelujah, especially if you have experience in the industry, but I would prefer us handling it because we know all about the equipment. We know about what can and can't work equipment wise. You know about Clover machines and how that works. So those are the kind of things morning. That could put y'all's brand on it. So let me stop the sharing here, and let's see. That was about an hour and a half, believe it or not. I can't believe it took that long, but I'll be glad to answer all the questions that you have, and hopefully this is beneficial to you.
Great, Wade, that was awesome. I really appreciate that. And while we're looking for hands to come up, but maybe you can keep an eye out. This is a high ticket solution that gets paid out daily. And I think if you all recall, Wade, right at the beginning of his presentation, said this is something that you can make full-time income on without building any teams whatsoever. And that's really important. Just imagine if you do this and you get the formula down and you're able to duplicate yourself with your team and you all go out and do the same things. So tremendous opportunity here with Bank Breezy. Do we have any questions, Bo?
I haven't seen any. Anybody raise their hand if you have one? Or just start talking.
Yep, whatever works.
So I have a question. This is Linda Rousseau. And Wade, thank you for coming and doing this for us, because I did watch the recorded training and I had questions. So when this came up, it was like, yes, perfect timing. But my question, when you were saying towards the end of the presentation, as far as being paid back on a daily basis, I know the payout for commissions is daily, but is it also daily as far as paying back these loans?
Okay, it's perfect. I'm glad you asked that. I should have covered it. There in our industry, this is not, we're not banking, so there's only one lender in the country that will take monthly, and 99% of the businesses out there will not qualify. It's almost, so it confuses people to even talk about that. So you either pay back weekly or you pay back daily. And daily is Monday through Friday, not weekends and not holidays. And it's determined by your industry type. It's determined by your, I mean, if you're below a 640 credit FICO, you're gonna pay daily on your initial funding. And then when you come back and you get your second funding with us, then we can look at it, and as long as it's at least $25,000, then then you can pay weekly. I have found that anyone in retail and a lot of other industry, restaurants, those kind of folks, they would prefer to pay daily because it comes out, because every day they're getting paid. In the credit card industry, they used to only send you money once a month. Now you get sent every day, the processing, and they love that because they can work with that capital. When you hit them for let's just $6,000 a month payment, they got to pay back to us. These are short-term fundings. Hitting a small business person for $6,000 at one time becomes a problem, just like that credit card fees that were hit once a month was a problem. But if you break it down to either weekly of 13 to 1,500 or daily, 20 divided by 6,000, 300 each day coming out, then it becomes a situation that is bearable, and that's why they like it. Plus, the lender will fund more not being monthly because they start getting their repayments quicker, and the person is getting terms, better rates, and at that point, we can look at giving them weekly payments.
$100,000 loan, but had to pay back $149,000. Do you have to pay that full amount back if you pay it off early?
The only prepayment discounts you get with A-paper folks, they'll get some of them will get a 25% discount if they pay back in the first 3 to 5 months. But it's all percent discount on the cost of the money. The other lender groups that we negotiated with, if you took, let's say you took 10,000, you got to pay back 14,000. If you pay it back in the first 30 days, you'll get 13% of the payback amount, not of the 10, but of the 14 that you're paying back. That's about 35% of the cost of funds. It doesn't sound like it, but it is, because you're doing it on the principal and the cost of funds. So they're going to get a discount in the first 3 months that they pay off early, unless they're an A lender. It could be, we got one A lender that will let them get that discount for the whole term of the funding.
And then how soon are we able to get signed up to do this?
I think Steve will answer that to you for you. It's all ready.
It's ready to go. Yeah, you go into the web there. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the solution resources. Click on that one, and that's where we're starting to put, you can actually order your Connect cards there. It has some samples. We're starting to put social media.
Or have you worked in office? Have any experience in that type?
The deal. Churches and some other nonprofits, if 50% of your revenue is through tithes and offering, we can't fund you. I mean, if more than 50%, as long as at least 50% come from something else, like maybe a school, maybe a grocery store, whatever. But if 50% is just from offerings and tithes, then we can't fund you, but we can, as long as at least 50% comes from someplace else of your revenue. And by the way, the reason churches that are doing that is, it's a bad look when a church, a lot of them do default.
Yeah, that's a bad karma right there, Wade.
Yeah, that's what we think.
Good literature, information, or anything on that for, and it could be churches, daycares, or nonprofits of all sorts.
It can be any type of nonprofit that has revenue coming in outside.
Question that I have is, I have an event coming up in which I'm in the commercial. It's going to be cover the DC, Virginia, Maryland area, and then the other one's New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, in which it's a commercial event with commercial agents, and then also then so two things. One, we're looking for sponsors if you're interested. Two, how would I share that information at that event? It's going to be like 50 to 75 in each event.
Yeah, the goes is I mean, we don't want house flippers and that would find them. They're going to be paying kind of middle of the road cost of funds, and it's I mean, we fund real estate property management every day. I mean, every day, because it's hard for them to get the funding. I would just tell you that I would probably, I don't know if you, I would probably just get the Connect cards and pass them out to each one of them rather than having a booth there, and then let each one of them decide if that is something for them.
Yeah, it's going to be more speakers and a one-day event and so forth. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of vendors there, but
Gotcha.
yeah, it's the commercial side, and there's business brokers. So there's business brokers as well as, you know, from industrial to multifamily, all of those facets and above. So just
sounds like a pretty good place to find some to recruit agents.
Correct. That's the other factor, is inviting other commercial agents to events. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Barbara. Our VP of Insurance, Bruce Davis, you have a question.
Yeah, hey Wade, thanks for the presentation. I just have a question going back to the 3 deposit rule. If I'm working with insurance agents that, let's say that their monthly renewals are $10,000, but they're only getting it from one carrier, like, United Healthcare, let's say. So every month, they're getting $10,000 deposited into their account, but it's only coming from one carrier. That's one deposit. How does that affect the minimum 3 deposit rule?
Yeah, well, it depends. If it's an insurance broker that is doing great volume, talking about 50,000 or more. When you start looking at the 10,000, you're talking about individual agents, and we do fund them, by the way. But with one deposit on that, they're going to more or less be a gig funding type scenario, unfortunately. But if they got 2 or 3 and it's 10,000, that's a whole different ballgame. But if it's just one, it is going to be an issue on insurance agents with just one. They would have to go to gig or what have you. It's going to be very difficult to get a lender to fund that.
So they would still be able to submit an application, an offer would be made, but it would most likely be coming from the gig funding side?
If they had one, but if they got 2 or 3, that's a different ballgame. But one, yeah, that's right. It'll be coming from the gig side.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bruce. Hey, do we have any other questions? Either speak up or raise your virtual hand or actual hand. Otherwise,
let me show you this. This right here. My wife puts these things out about funding with the Connect cards and all on them. She does it in our community. My wife probably gets 3 fundings a year from it, so it isn't a lot, but she does it at car washes, places that small business people go. She puts these things out, and I'm telling you that 3 fundings, hers haven't been huge, maybe 25,000 here, 15,000 there, but you never know when that one funding. I passed out a card that wound up being 1.8 million in funding over 3 different fundings in 12 months. So, but that was me passing out a card to someone that in a community setting of everybody just getting together and talking and having like food and beverage, and I passed it out, and he didn't look like he was interested, so you never know.
yeah, I love that. If you guys, you have a lot of different solutions. If you can integrate that one little step of sharing those Connect cards, when you're going out to businesses, I like Wade's concept. If you're doing business with them, they should be doing business with you. Makes a ton of sense to me. Barbara, I think I see your hand go up again, or was that left up from before?
No, yes. I did have another question. He said about bringing agents in. So with Solveres, and we hand out the cards, and then we get, the commission from those that connect through our cards and papers. Oh, I think I'm echoing. So the question is you said about bringing an agent. So if I had other agents that want to do this, and I can put them underneath me through Solveres or through you, or what is that specific protocol? How does that work in this scenario?
We don't have agents direct with us. We have organizations. So whatever Solveres has in place for you guys to do it, I assume that they had an agent program. I don't know.
Yeah, so you'll run everything through Solveres, just like with whatever solution that we have that might have a multi-level component. It's in your best interest to run that all through the Solveres umbrella, then try to go to make these little side deals on each of these, because there's a lot of upsell, cross-sell opportunity that you're going to miss out. So you want to run it through the Solveres platform.
So in other words, bring him into Solveres.
Yeah,
Yes.
You can't bring them into Bank Breezy. We're not a company. We're a platform.
Right.
Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't quite sure with that statement what direction to take. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. And that goes with any of our solutions.
Yeah, Barb, I just wanted to say how easy it was. I was speaking with someone and I brought them into the Solveres site. And, to get the information for Bank Breezy, they became a free customer. And now this person is a free customer and they're getting more information about Solveres as well as Bank Breezy.
Okay, so but they're not, are they getting a commission as a customer and you're just getting the residual?
No.
Is that how that's working, or did they sign up as the other fact?
So I can answer that one for you, Deborah. So if they sign up as a customer, a free customer, they can access that solution. They can go get a loan with Bank Breezy, and then the person that brought them into Solveres will get the commission, right? And then that customer, if they can keep doing loans, they can refer people, but they're not going to get any commissions for that. The person that brought them in will. So they need to sign up as a representative if they want to earn commissions.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
You bet.
exactly. And this is just an opportunity then for them, to not only take advantage of the Bank Breezy offering, but then to be able to explore Solveres more. And once they do business with Bank Breezy, now I can say to them, well, this is a portion. If you want to tell people about this, you become a member of Solveres.
Yep. So I want to be respectful of Wade's time. So if we have any other questions regarding the specifics of the Bank Breezy program, I'll raise your hand again. If not, we're going to say thanks to Wade. I really appreciate you coming in and doing this training for us. We'll definitely record it. We'll have it up in the solution resources page under the capital funding, and it'll probably go under the ERC and merchant services as well. So you have those. If you have specific questions about it, please don't just call Wade or send him a bunch of emails. That could really inundate him with that. Run it through our ticket system. If we cannot answer the question for you directly, then we have a line of communication directly with Wade that we can ask him questions and get those answers. And that can happen pretty quickly. Wade is super responsive to communication. So we appreciate that.
Okay.
I don't see... Yeah, Wade, I'll let you close. I don't see any hands up, so we could go ahead and call it a day.
I really appreciate you guys even giving us the time. I tell you, this is going to be a big deal for you. Once people, when the light bulbs go on, you're going to see literally millions of dollars worth of funding coming in every month because people are desperate to try to find ways to get things funded, even if it's just they just need this week's payroll so they can live to fight another day.
Yep.
I've got a question. What kind of commission can we expect on something like a $100,000 loan?
Don't know. That's all not part of what I do. That would be Steve's answer, right?
Yeah, and we could put scenarios and breakdowns for that one. So that's a perfect response, Wade. Again, there's a lot of things that the factors first before we even get paid, right? And so they have to figure that out. But we can just talk general percentages and what if scenarios, and we'll lay that out in the solution resources guide. Just put a sample compensation. I will say this is something that you could do as a full-time job. This is not just, okay, you're going to make an additional $5 here and there for each one. This one, the commissions are pretty significant, and you could focus solely on Bank Breezy and make a good, generous revenue stream off of that.
Hey, Steve, let me jump in with one comment, Mark, here. Wade was so generous, you guys. He usually has a sliding scales when he's working with organizations, starting at 50 and working up to 70%. He waived a lot of requirements, went right to 70% for our organization. So as far as the breakdown of specifics, Bo or anybody else, let's let Wade go, and I'll go over that with everybody.
Yeah, sounds good.
Jack has a question.
I'm very concerned, Steve, because I'm trying to send you a message, and when I use my Zoom link to send you a message, it goes to another member. It doesn't go to you, and I'm wondering if anybody else is having that problem with the platform. I click on your name, but the message doesn't go to you. It goes to Jeff Stafford, even though I'm clicking on your link on Zoom.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
anyone
sure.
else having that problem?
Yeah, I'm going to let Wade go, Jack, and then we'll
Okay.
talk with that. I'll explain how that works. Wade, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Wade.
Thanks, guys. Have a blessed weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wade.
Thank you, Wade.
Jack, the reason that's happening is because some of the executive officers log in using the same credentials to Zoom. And so you might be grabbing the wrong person to send the message to.
Right,
I have
because when
received it. Yeah, I have received a message and then it disappears. So it's happening, but shoot me an email or something if you need to.
Can I ask a question real quick, Steve?
Sure.
I'm looking on my phone and in our back office. What do I click on to find about Bank Breezy? Is it in there yet, or is Michael working on that?
No, it's there. Go to the main website.
Okay.
Or any page on the website and hover over the solutions link on top.
Okay.
And it'll give you the mega menu. Look under the business and you'll see capital funding.
Okay.
And then that page will open up the capital funding for Bank Breezy. At the bottom of that page, as long as you're logged in, we'll have the solution resources so you can access those. We should have the ERC page up. It's possible today. I don't know if Mike is on or not, but that one's complete. We just have to publish it and it's ready to go. And then we'll have the merchant services up. That should be next week. I think it's already created. Again, it just needs a little coding and it's ready to go. So then you'll have all the Bank Breezy tools that you need. Seriously, guys, that is a great solution. That, in addition to the technology package or bundle that we're putting together for you, you should be able to do a lot of business with that. And then you can get every once in a while some big ticket commissions on some of the other solutions that we have.
So should I click apply now on it?
Yep, you bet.
Awesome.
It's
Thank
all
you so
set up.
much. Thank you.
Yeah, and what I really loved about what Wade said is he doesn't want you to do anything, right? He encourages people. This is the first time I've seen him have numbers that say, when you do get too involved, the numbers drop. And keep that in mind. We've had a ton of people going through the insurance, the final expense program, that are not agents, that don't want to familiar. They want to know all of this information so they can explain. Don't do that. Just refer them over to the landing page. Let them get into.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, can you hear me all right?
He I think, is having issues with the connection.
Oh, okay. Bo, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hey, one thing that we went over Thursday night, which is so crucial, and I'm saying this because I don't want people to get bogged down with too much information or too much detail. Like Bank Breezy is just one of a dozen solutions that require some education. But the real focus here, Jeff Powell was on the call Thursday, and a light bulb went off for him, thinking about, oh my goodness, so this is just what I have to do? And it went extremely well regarding people just the technical bundle. I mean, that's a couple $100 of value every month for you to go out and just buy it. And to get it with our company for $79 a month, that is all you need to focus on to sell Solveres. And everything else is gravy.
Yeah.
Back to you, Bo.
Are you back, Steve?
I think I am. I'm not sure how much
Yeah,
I got out before
you are.
Okay, before I got cut off, but yeah, I don't even remember where I was. So it's really difficult going back and forth when these things cut out. So did we have any last questions? Because we're already an hour and 20 minutes into this, guys. I want to make sure you enjoy your Saturdays, but I want to make sure you can also ask whatever questions. So anybody else? Jack, your hand is still up. I don't know if that was left up or not.
I have a quick
Steve,
question.
what is the best way that I could get a hold of you, Steve? Would it be LinkedIn, Facebook, or what is the best way for me to touch base with you? What platform?
Typically, email is the best.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Go ahead, Linda.
In the training, you mentioned a book that you authored. How do we get that book?
I think I actually replied to your ticket with a link directly to that book, so you can download it for free.
Oh, okay. I haven't checked my emails today, so.
Okay. Yeah, check it. Check it. I think I actually responded to all your questions there. So let us know. No, it was good. I just copied the list of questions and put my answers on it. So hopefully we covered them all.
Thank you.
All right.
So are there any guests that want to kind of say who they are and where they're from and what's going on with them? How they got to this meeting? Anybody want to speak up?
There's a couple names. I see Mitch Roberts. I don't know unless I see a picture. And Jerry, are you guys guests today, or is this your first time?
Well, they're a little shy, so I guess we'll go ahead and go.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and call this a day, guys. This was a great job. Really appreciate time and appreciate Wade. Go ahead and go take a look at the Bank Breezy page and make sure that if you have any questions, Bo, go ahead. I see your finger.
No, I just want to invite everybody for Monday, 9 o'clock Pacific and noon Eastern. We have the Pro Solution Package meeting, mastermind meeting.
That's
if you're
it.
a pro, go ahead and get to that meeting on Monday.
All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
Recording stopped.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, go to samsilversolutions.com, or you can scan the little QR code right here. Bank Breezy is an amazing opportunity to make money, serious money, by helping small businesses get loans. So connect with me. You can also call me directly at 661-621-5340. I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Make it a great day. I got to go show some properties. Bye for now.